You guys going to happy hour?
Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez-Clary with you. What's up, Rico?
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great. How about yourself, sir?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
I watched multiple people do push-ups today.
Yeah, I was going to knock out 50, but then, listen, here's the thing.
You decided you didn't want one up anybody.
I don't need to do that, number one. Number two, I've already shown that I can do athletic activities.
I have shown that I
am an athlete. All right. Both from challenging myself to do a 400-meter dash in 90 seconds and then actually doing it. Like, Nathan has challenged Jay to a bench press off, whatever you want to call it, bench off. He's an idiot for that. Jay is sneaky strong. I have a feeling Jay is sneaky strong.
Jay still works out.
Well, that's a problem.
Jay told me when he gets upset, he lifts.
Oh, boy.
And he lifts heavy. So he was telling me about a story when he was in Buffalo and he was upset and he went to work out at 3 a.m. And then he realized he worked out, went and showered, was sitting in a sauna or something, and then realized he was still angry. So he went and lifted again.
That is a freaky animal.
I'm like, bro, what?
Jay, I don't know if that's healthy. Is it healthy when
that was when he was in the NFL? So,
oh boy,
it was bad. I believe he said it was when he was in Buffalo. Could have been Houston. I believe it was Buffalo.
Okay, well, okay. So a couple things we can get to today. First of all, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Both those open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. This is the Happy Hour, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting. Visit them in Waverly for all your needs. Once again, Rick and Rico with you. Plenty of stuff to get to. So we're going to touch on the whole Cubs keeping Wilson Contreras, whether it's a smart idea.
I was going to tweet at you and Steve and be like, hey, you good?
Yeah, I actually listened to on MLB TV last night. Obviously, I was watching the Cubs pregame show because they played a relatively earlier game in the evening against the Cardinals that they lost, but because Adam Wainwright decides to never get old and just keep pitching forever. And I know there's a lot of Cardinals fans on the text line. Paul Goldschmidt hit a bomb. Lars Nootbaar played well. Lars Nootbaar went 3 for 3.
That is
all-time name also.
Yeah, Lars Nootbaar.
Lars Nootbaar. Sounds like a candy.
Would you eat a Nootbaar?
Would I eat a Nootbaar? Probably not.
I think I might. I'm not sure what's in it, but I think I might. It sounds like a chocolate, maybe some caramel.
It sounds like something that will have outer space design on it.
It's definitely like a spacey
candy bar
type bag.
Yeah.
There's definitely some type of peanuts, walnuts, something like that.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And it's either caramel, or nougat. So
it's not caramel.
It can't be caramel. Kind of like a Snickers, but not. It's a Nootbaar.
I don't think it's caramel. Okay. Caramel? Not caramel. So Corey and Lincoln says nougat.
It obviously has nougat. Yeah, right. You're right.
Lars Nootbaar. Candy bar. Come and do a grocery store near you. Anyway, Cubs got shut out last night. But anyway,
don't touch my food.
You can have my fries. You can have my fries there. Yeah, you can have them.
Don't touch my wings.
Anyway,
I will fight you.
So we'll discuss that, whether or not the Cubs have a plan. So on the pregame show, Jed Hoyer, their GM, was talking, and the guy had no answers for anything. It was so obvious that they were shocked that they didn't get rid of Wilson Contreras or Ian Happ. He had not talked to Wilson Contreras yet. This guy was kind of, yeah, exactly. It was kind of unbelievable.
How could you not find out? You have trade partners. There's people that want to trade for them, but were you not getting the haul that you thought?
I was going to say, I think they waited too long, because you have to remember, this has been an awkward 2 weeks, right? This has been a goodbye that's been lasting over 2 weeks. I mean, just a little around a week ago, they played what they thought was going to be their final home game.
Hugged it out
at Wrigley, hugged it out with Ian Happ. Wilson Contreras got a standing ovation, all that from the Wrigley Field crowd. And then they go to San Francisco, and then they hug out again because they think that they're done playing with the Cubs because they have an off day on Monday. And it's like, all right, yeah, this is it. The Cubs are moving on from Wilson Contreras. This thing's been kind of picking up steam the last 2 weeks, and there's been notable contenders or people that are or teams that are in playoff situations that are interested in a catcher, in a Wilson Contreras catcher. And Wilson Contreras carries the little bit of a warning where, hey, he might struggle adapting to a new pitching staff. But if you are a team that's missing a bat in the lineup, then you put him at DH and don't worry about putting him behind the dish, and you're just fine. So
if Jose Trevino doesn't have his breakout season,
that is
Wilson
unbelievable.
Contreras is a Yankee.
I would hate that.
I almost guarantee
I think
that.
Wilson Contreras would hate that too. Wilson,
he'd hang out with Anthony Rizzo again.
If you watch what Wilson does, his actions on the field, that man is so happy to be a Cub still.
Oh yeah.
Like if you watch the videos and the little clips that they released, that man did not want to get traded, and everybody around him did not want him traded.
Dude loves Chicago.
He does.
Loves him.
It does. And he's brought us a World Series. He's helped us bring a World Series. But anyway, as Thomas and Link on the text line says, that's amazing to hear that the Cubs can't win on either the field or in the trade room. Well, so in Jed Hoyer, they were like, listen, did you just not get the haul that you were expecting in there? They said, yeah, like teams weren't giving them the prospects or the desired return that they felt like they could get. But I think part of their problem was that they waited too long.
You dangled him out there for way too long. Like, it started the 2 weeks, and the fact that the fan reaction was the way that it was.
Yeah.
The other teams realized, like, look, we don't have to give you that much because the fans want him to stay. So
they dangled him out there for 2 weeks or a week and a half or whatever it was, and you don't have to wait until the day of the trade deadline to trade him. Like, newsflash, Cubs could have traded him a week ago, and it would have been just fine because it would have been before the trade. Like, it just wouldn't have had the drama of the trade deadline.
Instead of dangling the Wilson Contreras carrot out there for everybody to see, you should have, if you really wanted to trade him, you should have just done it.
So now what their next move probably will be.
All of your power.
That's a big part. What they'll probably end up doing now is they'll have to offer Wilson a qualifying offer for 1 year, and Wilson will have to decide whether or not he accepts it, which I don't know. I'm leaning towards seeing him accept it. And a qualifying offer is just basically a 1 year deal, like I said. But I would honestly think that he would probably accept it. And the Cubs, if you're the Cubs front office, you just have to kind of hope that at the end of the season next year, when Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ's contracts are expiring, that some of your prospects that you've gotten, whether it's from the Anthony Rizzo trade, whether it's from the other trades that you performed in the last 2 years, you better hope that a guy like Pete Crow Armstrong or a couple pitchers in your minor leagues are ready to go, so that you're not going through this whole thing once again, because you can't then release or offer a qualifying offer to Wilson next year. Like you have to either sign him long-term or let him walk. And if the Cubs, like Rico said, he lost all the power. And if the Cubs are sitting here at the end of the 2023 season and going, yeah, listen, we just don't want to re-sign Wilson. It's time to go into the full rebuild. Jed Hoyer got mad when a reporter asked if they wanted to start building their rebuild around Wilson Contreras, and Jed's like, we're not going through a rebuild.
Yes.
And we're like, what is going on then? Why are you talking about
Jed.
selling at the trade deadline every single season? But at the end of the season next year, they just have to decide whether or not, if they let Wilson walk, then they truly lost all the power, and you're going to look back at the last year and a half and go,
this is the
moment. You should have let Wilson Contreras walk when you had the opportunity.
You have to trade him. You can't let him go for nothing. If you're truly just not going to you have to trade him.
Yeah.
He's worth too much. And even if you're not going to get the haul that you expect, at least you can get something, because letting him walk for nothing is not going to help your non-rebuild rebuild.
I agree. Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. As Nathan said yesterday, this is one thing I actually agree on Nathan with. The whole Cubs demise started when they traded Eloy Jimenez to the White Sox for Jose Quintana. And now Quintana's at the is it the Cardinals? I think Quintana got dealt to the Cardinals over the last 2 days. The Cardinals made some moves. Now, on the flip side of this, I know all you Cardinals fans will like this.
Low-key St. Louis.
Cardinals made some moves. They got Jordan Montgomery from the Yankees. They got the starting pitcher Jordan Montgomery from the Yankees.
Thank you for Harrison Bader.
But they gave up Harrison Bader.
Thank you for that.
So that was kind of shocking. I was surprised not to see a guy like Tommy Edman get dealt because he's been struggling as of late, and I actually would have expected them to deal Tommy Edman rather than Harrison Bader. But if you needed that starting pitcher depth and they decided to go to the tier 2 kind of guy with Jordan Montgomery rather than a Jorge Lopez guy, Jorge Lopez, the pitcher out of Miami. And Pablo Lopez, is that the backyard baseball character?
I think so.
Okay. Anyway, Jorge Lopez, who was the starting pitcher in Miami. So they decided to go to tier 2 kind of guys. Carlos Rodon didn't get dealt, which was kind of shocking.
Very surprising.
That one was shocking. JD Martinez and the Red Sox are still together, which was surprising as well.
Yes. If that's really what you want to do, Red Sox.
I heard that the Yankees were fielding calls for Glaber. Apparently,
I did not expect that. He hasn't really been struggling. He's been playing really well, but if you don't think that if you think you could get another
Pablo
arm,
Sanchez, my bad.
If you think
Not
you
Pablo
could get
Lopez.
another arm for the rotation, because right now you have a good 1-2 punch in Garrett Cole, even though he gave up like 7 runs to the Mariners.
And Nestor,
today.
right?
Nestor's actually going to be like your number 4.
No way.
Yeah, behind whoever they got from the A's.
Oh, Frankie Montas.
Frankie Montas is going to be your number 2, and then I don't remember who number 3 was. I think Nestor was number 4. He might have been number 3. Jonathan Loaisiga is going to be probably your number 3, and then
whatever happened to a guy like Luis Severino?
Luis Severino is hurt again.
That's right.
He's
That's
on
right.
the 60-day IL again. But
Shocker.
he'll be back in September, is what they say. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. But if he comes back and he's full strength, you got another guy there. They're the Yankees bullpen coming back strong as Aroldis Chapman is figuring out how to pitch again. He went through a strange spiral of being awful. He's no longer the Yankees closer. Now he's like a setup man.
Wow,
like a setup or just an innings eater now for the Yankees. He's no longer the closer. So the bullpen is still strong considering, that. And, the lineup does what the lineup does. Adding Harrison Bader and being able to have him in the outfield and probably having Giancarlo be a full-time DH is going to be fantastic. You could move Aaron Judge from center back to right field. And Andrew Benintendi, throw him in left field. And you've got, a whole bunch of gold gloves in the outfield, and you're looking pretty.
That's unreal. All right, so that's a little bit of trade news. Yankees captain documentary, still fantastic.
Still great.
Rico, have you started watching it?
I have not. I want to.
Dude, you need to start. So I'm just now
it's on Disney Plus. It's just like a 30 for 30.
I'm just now getting to the point, the episode where, because it's like broken up into obviously episodes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting to I think it's like episode 5 is what I'm on right now. And it's getting to the point where they just traded for A-Rod.
Ooh.
And there was George Steinbrenner, man. He's a little evil. He is. I'm finding out he was evil.
He was,
man. It was not good.
He was a great man.
With that being said, rest in peace, Vin Scully, one of the greatest to ever do it, if not the greatest. I think we do have a call for Vin Scully, and yeah, Rico, play whichever one you would like to play. We already heard the Hank Aaron one earlier.
Here's actually Vin Scully's final sign off.
There you go.
He retired last year, 2 years ago.
I was thinking it was 2016.
Was it that long?
It's been a long time.
I thought he just missed the Dodgers World Series.
Let's hold on. We can
look that up.
When did Vin Scully retire? Before we play it here.
Yeah.
2016.
2016. It felt like it was like 2 years ago.
I know.
Okay, here's his final sign off.
Friends, so many people have wished me congratulations on a 67-year career in baseball, and they've wished me a wonderful retirement with my family. And now all I can do is tell you what I wish for you. May God give you for every storm a rainbow, for every tear a smile, for every care a promise, and a blessing in each trial. For every problem life seems a faithful friend to share, for every sigh a sweet song, and an answer for each prayer. You and I have been friends for a long time, but I know in my heart that I've always needed you more than you've ever needed me. And I'll miss our time together more than I can say. But you know what? There will be a new day and eventually a new year. And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball. So this is Vin Scully wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon wherever you may be.
That's why. That is insane. That gives goosebumps.
Okay. I did not think I was going to feel this way right now.
That's goosebumps, man. Like
I had heard that.
Truly remarkable.
I had heard that one time when it first happened. I hadn't heard it since then. And that's just that's like the final sign off of like his life. Like that's just...
you talk about a broadcaster who can captivate the audience with very few words. And when he says, though, it's time for Dodger baseball, all
Iconic.
ears. Oh, it's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. And yeah,
I have goosebumps right now.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree with you.
Do you want to go to a break?
Yeah, let's go.
I kind of want to go to a break.
Let's go ahead and head to break. When we come back, we'll dive in. So right now in AAA baseball, we are going to get to Husker football here in the next segment. In AAA baseball, there's actually a former high school baseball player from the city of Lincoln. He actually played at Pius X, who is playing for the St. Paul Saints currently, the AAA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins. They are actually in Omaha playing against the Storm Chasers, and Michael Hellman had himself quite the evening last night for the St. Paul Saints. So we'll let you guys know kind of how he performed last night, and then we'll get to Husker football discussion coming up. That's going to be all the rest of the show. Stick with us. Once again, rest in peace to the late Vin Scully. We'll take a break. You're listening to the Happy Hour on 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast today, a few showers and storms are possible early this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mostly sunny skies this afternoon. We'll see an afternoon high of around 96. Tonight, mostly clear skies in the forecast, a little bit cooler with a low of around 65. And tomorrow, sunny skies are expected throughout the day with a high of around 95. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
My computer was a dinosaur, and our TV, well, let's just say it was definitely time for an upgrade. But finding a way wasn't so simple. And then I found it, a research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. I earned cash for the study and was able to make those much-needed upgrades. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
From selling a home to even building one, you're doing a lot and need a lender who can help you do it. Like Elizabeth Rizak of Security First Bank.
With over 25 years of experience as a mortgage loan officer, I take pride in helping borrowers find the right loan for their next home.
Mortgage lending from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 505011 and 483558.
Warhorse Casino is bringing winning opportunities to Lincoln. Get in on the action at our next job fair, Tuesday, August 9th from 3 to 7 at the RBC Event Space, 5721 Johanna Road. We are hiring trailblazers in every department: beverage servers, slot, custodial, security, and more. Every employee is treated like family, and every role is essential in creating a one-of-a-kind experience. For information on openings and job fairs, go to warhorsecasino.com.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico back with you once again, remembering Vince Scully, who passed away at the age of 94 last night. Here's a quote. So it's a quote that we don't have an audio for it, but I saw it pop up on Twitter, and I thought, man, this is truly fascinating. What the ability that Vince Scully had to kind of captivate and assess the sporting event, whichever event he was calling. And the quote says, while he was broadcasting a game in 2012, he said, "He watched a good pitch and swung at a bad one. Perhaps that's human nature."
Damn.
Dang. One of my favorite Vince Scully quotes of all time. Because if you walk away from the baseball field and you talk about life, right? It's truly just remarkable the things that Vince Scully was able to put into words and how he was able to process the sporting event that was going on in front of him and translate it to the audience watching at home or listening at home, wherever it was, right? As he says, wherever you may be. I mean, it's truly
the way he would dance
beautiful
with the game and dance with the crowd and his way with words. And he's just an amazing storyteller and could paint the picture so vividly.
Well, and you have to
mind.
on baseball.
Yeah,
you have to.
It just made you feel like you were there, and he would draw you in and just an artist.
It's
an artist of words.
Baseball was set up perfectly for Vince Scully to broadcast. I mean that's really the honest truth. Okay, so I mentioned before the break, Michael Hellman, former Pius X Thunderbolt, former walked on. So just to kind of walk you through his career really quickly. This is just going to be a brief little mention of it. He left or graduated from Pius, walked on at Hutchinson Community College in Kansas.
Okay.
All right. Ended up, so he walked on at JUCO.
Yeah, which is
different.
Okay.
So was under recruited out of high school. Walked on at Hutchinson Community College in Hutchinson, Kansas, which is a pretty highly regarded junior college in the country for baseball. Ends up winning National Junior College Player of the Year. All right. After walk on. And I might pull up his stats because they're truly fascinating. Ends up going to Texas A&M, where he played for a couple years.
Okay.
Went to A&M, then gets drafted by the Twins in 2018 in the 11th round.
Can I just
Yes.
Dude went from walking on at a JUCO
Yeah.
to Texas A&M, which is a very prestigious baseball college, to getting drafted
in the 11th round.
He walked on at a JUCO, dude.
Let me tell you his junior college stats here real quickly. So
how under-recruited.
So these were his junior college stats. He's a utility guy, so he can play everywhere. At Hutchinson in his final year, in 60 games, he hit .487 with 17 home runs, 73 RBIs, 103 runs scored, and 30 stolen bases. Truly, I mean,
what?
If you talk about like best players to ever come out of Pius, he is the number one guy. Other than Andy Gertch also is up there, who played in Nebraska. But in recent years, Michael Hellman is there.
Isn't there a pitcher in the majors right now?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
I could be wrong.
I mean, there's Nebraska-born players, obviously.
Yeah.
So
wasn't he with the Red Sox? He got traded.
Text line would always be a help.
Yeah.
Anyway. So last night, Michael Hellman is finally in AAA. He's with the St. Paul Saints right now of the Minnesota Twins, which is the AAA affiliate of the Twins, and he got called up this year. So this season in AAA, he is hitting .283 with 14 home runs, 44 RBIs, 92 hits, 69 runs scored, and 24 stolen bases. He has an OPS of .843. So last night, they are he's 26 years old. Last night against the Storm Chasers, Michael Hellman goes 5 for 5 with 2 home runs, a single, and 2 doubles against the Storm Chasers.
Whew.
And starts at third base. The guy is 26 years old, obviously fighting. He's not on the 40-man roster or anything, but it's truly awesome because so we're just talking baseball out of Pius for this one, because obviously Adam True was, I believe, a football player that went out of Pius, came out of Pius.
Matt Hop, that is who I was thinking of. I apologize.
Jake Diekman. Yes, Diekman. He just got dealt.
Yeah, he just got traded.
So it's pretty impressive. I just wanted to shout that out. I actually, I'll be 100% honest. I texted Hellman last night and I was like, "Hey man, you want to come on the show tomorrow?" And he's obviously his lives here and everything like that, so he's doing stuff with family.
He can stop in.
I should have told him that. I should have told him to stop in, but no. So shout out to Michael Hellman. And I'm actually heading out to the Storm Chasers game tonight to watch him play. So that'll be fun
see if he goes 5 for 5
to
again.
see good old Michael Hellman. But he's, he went 5 for 5 last night, 2 bombs. He went up, so comes up in the 8th inning, a triple away from the cycle, and hits a bomb. So that was what they're going to be. Actually, one of my buddies that I was actually playing PS4 with last night said, "Hey, ask him if he comes on the show. Ask him, would he rather have had a second home run or rather have had hit for the cycle?"
That was going to be, if we would have got him on, that was going to be my question. Were you trying to hit it out, or were you just trying to get it as far as you could?
So think about it. Would you have rather been hit a second home run or hit for the cycle?
The cycle.
Really?
The cycle.
Easily. Even though it's at AAA level. Even though it's at a AAA level.
It's still the cycle. It doesn't matter where it's
at. It is still the cycle. So, okay. So I just want to shout out Michael Hellman. So congratulations to him. Once again, St. Paul Saints are in Omaha through the weekend, I believe. And they're playing. He went 5 for 5 last night. Vince Scully got that done. Trade deadline stuff. Now, Rico, you have a list for us.
I have a list from 24/7 Sports. The 10 best games in September. Now remember.
Okay.
Nebraska has games in September.
All right.
In case anybody forgot, Nebraska plays in September as well. Did Nebraska make the top 10 of football most important games in September? Text line 402-464-5685. Did Nebraska make it? If you've seen the list, don't cheat. If you haven't,
whenever you do this whenever you do this type of activity with the listeners, with the same
it's usually the same answer.
Outcome,
it's
always
usually
happens.
The same answer. I'll give you guys a little bit.
All right. So once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Sartor Heyman text line, as well as the video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. You can always hit us up personally, Nick_Sainer or at Radio Rico AC.
And I'll give you the top 4. All right. I'll give you the top 4. Number 1, Notre Dame, Ohio State. That is September 3rd. Number 2, Clemson, Wake Forest, September 24th. Alabama, Texas, September 10th, and Texas A&M, Arkansas, September 24th.
I'll tell you this: Nebraska, North Dakota did not make the list.
Unfortunately, they
Nebraska, North Dakota, and Nebraska, Georgia Southern did not make the list. So that leaves Nebraska, Oklahoma, and that's a bye week after Oklahoma.
It is.
So is Nebraska versus Oklahoma a top 10 game according to 24/7 Sports in September?
Does Nebraska have a top 10 game in September? Really, this is Nebraska, Oklahoma, top 10 games in September. I gave you the top 4.
Which, let's be honest, that Notre Dame Ohio State game is super
that one's gonna be fun.
Exciting.
That one's gonna be fun.
I actually
the Clemson
I have
Wake
to
Forest
admit,
game, I don't really have any feelings towards that. I mean, it's
I'm not used
Uiagalelei and whoever Wake Forest
Sam Hartman.
Dang
it. Okay.
But I couldn't remember.
Did you not watch QB1?
I know he's good.
Did you watch QB1 on
not.
Netflix? Well, he was part of QB1 on Netflix.
I know he's good. I just couldn't remember his name.
Sam
I'm
Hartman.
sorry.
Gee whiz.
So everybody's saying the Oklahoma game. Should be Chase B says it should be, but college football doesn't recognize the game rivalry we have with Oklahoma because we haven't been good. Augie says, I guess not. They don't respect us enough to think we have a chance against OU. A couple of people said the Oklahoma game should be top 10. I have something to tell you guys. It's not. Nebraska is not a top 10 most important game in September as the rest of the top 10 shakes out. Number 5.
Okay, I have a problem with that.
Number
I have a
5
big problem with this.
Is Wisconsin, Ohio State, September 24th. Florida, Tennessee is 6th, September 24th. Miami, Texas A&M, September 17th. Utah and Florida, September 3rd. I don't think that's important at all. That's a fun game.
This
That's
next
not
one,
important.
number 9, is the one I have the most problem with.
This is not important at all. Florida State, LSU, September 4th.
That means nothing.
Oklahoma, Georgia, September 3rd.
If we were in 2018 or Willie Taggart had just gotten the Florida State job, then I would be interested in the Florida State LSU game.
Yeah.
Like Mackenzie Milton's not at Florida State anymore.
It's three.
Tell me, Rico, tell me who Florida State's quarterback is.
Ooh, I don't know. I couldn't.
I have no idea who it is. They probably got a transfer. Hold on. Because I know I'm obviously Chubba left.
Unnamed text says Oregon, Georgia will be closer than the spread.
Jordan Travis.
In all reality, you want to know? You want to know something? In all reality, you want to know which games are the most important? The conference games that are first up. So Texas A&M, Arkansas, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Florida, Tennessee. Those are the only important games. All of the other ones are just fun. They're not important. None of it matters.
Wisconsin, Ohio State.
If Ohio State loses to Notre Dame to start off the season, but they win out the rest of the year, guess what? They're in the playoff.
Ooh, that's a fun exercise.
It does it. If Alabama loses to Texas that first game, Alabama wins out, they're in the playoff.
That's what we're talking about though with the playoff is.
And if Texas wins, it means nothing. They'll probably lose their next game. I don't care.
Well, so that's what's crazy about the whole playoff discussion is if a team like Alabama or Ohio State were to lose their first game, okay, or one of these games, and then win out and finish with one loss and win as the conference champion, like Ohio State, for example, is going to get in partially because they're the Big Ten champion, I suppose, but another part is because of what have you done for me lately? And this is where like Nebraska gets hurt. That's where Nebraska, if they want to eventually become like an Ohio State, like a Notre Dame that's always on the fringe, right? Then you got to obviously, and this sounds super generic and super cheesy, you got to start somewhere. And a year like this season, if Nebraska gets 8 wins or 9 wins, you're not going to make the playoff. You're not necessarily going to be in the discussion for the playoff. But if you build 8 and 9 win seasons on top of each other, and then eventually you break out into an 11 win or a 12 win year, you're going to have no problem getting into the playoff because they're going to be able to look at your body of work in the last 5 years and say, all right, yeah, they've won games consistently. And like, for example, the big caveat or the big bounce back that Nebraska is going to have this year, if Nebraska is indeed or has the opportunity to be considered for the playoff, is if it's a toss-up, they're going to go at strength of schedule. And Nebraska is struggling in strength of schedule right now, obviously, which it might help out Nebraska. It might be the reason that they're in that situation. However, with that being said, they're going to say, well, Nebraska is only in this situation because of the schedule, not because they're actually a good football team.
And can I say something about, people are making their own, the Nebraska-Oklahoma game of the century, the rivalry should make it a more play. It's okay. Forget the rivalry. All right. Throw the rivalry out the window for this game. Do you want to know why Nebraska-Oklahoma is such an important game in September? Scott Frost's job is on the line this season. If he doesn't win more games than he loses, he probably loses his job. All right. So that's just importance on every single game this season. And Oklahoma, that's the first big game for Brent Venables in his career at Oklahoma. His first year at Oklahoma, that's the first big game. They play UTEP and Kent State to open the season. It's their first road game. It's their first Power 5 opponent. He's a first-year head coach.
That is
They have
weird.
Dylan Gabriel coming off a torn ACL, who transferred to UCLA and then transferred to Oklahoma. They lost their entire roster almost. This game is important for not even the rivalry aspect.
Offensive coordinator.
Like I said, toss the rivalry out the window. This game is important for both schools.
Imagine if so let's riddle me this just for grins and giggles or whatever DP says, grins and giggles, right? Yeah. So anyway, instead of the other version of that. Anyway, if Nebraska is 3-0 and Oklahoma's 2-0 going into Oklahoma, and Nebraska, let's just say curb stomps Oklahoma,
destroys them.
What is the reaction in Norman? I mean, for real, and we'll let you know. We're gonna have Chris Plank on our show the week of, and if Nebraska ends up curb stomping Oklahoma, we will have Chris Plank on of Sooners Radio Network.
I'm on that Monday.
On right away.
I'll
Steve.
tell Steve.
Yeah,
look,
sorry, Steve. We're having Chris on.
This is important
because I don't know if you guys remember, but when the whole Lincoln Riley situation went down, Norman was in shambles, and now if their version of Scott Frost, if Brent Venables, who obviously previously coached at Oklahoma and now comes back as a head coach, loses his first playoff or first Power 5 game to Nebraska, because that's what they're saying right now.
Scott Frost of all people. That's
a coach that was would be 18-29 in his 4 years at Nebraska.
Moving up.
Are you serious? Brent Venables lost? That place is going to be in shambles. So Rico makes a really good point there. They bring in Brent Venables, bring in Dylan Gabriel, bring in a whole new roster.
This game is important.
And not to mention a brand new offensive coordinator in Jeff Levy from Ole Miss.
It's important. I don't care what 24/7 has to say.
So Christian and Lincoln asked this, 402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. If you're just now joining us, Nick and Rico with you on the happy hour here, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting. Video stream is also open for you guys, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Christian Lincoln asks, how much are you guys reading into Oklahoma? If Nebraska wins, are they in the driver's seat to win the West?
No.
I would not say they're in the driver's seat. The belief in my mind, if they beat Oklahoma, that Nebraska could win the West, goes up substantially.
I don't think it moves at all for me.
Really?
Oklahoma is too different from the actual teams in the driver's seat for the West as a team, as their play style. Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Iowa play completely different styles of football. So you beating Oklahoma, it's a nice feather in your cap. But again, you have to remember, this isn't the same Oklahoma. This isn't the Lincoln Riley.
That's true.
Oklahoma. This is the new Brent Venables Oklahoma. So if they beat Oklahoma, when they beat Oklahoma, however you want to say that, it'll be great. It'll make for a really fun week, a really fun 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, look, you got to get right back down to business, because then you're entering conference play. As long as you beat Northwestern, then you're in your own car's driver's seat for the West. But until you go on the road or until you host one of the other Big Ten West opponents and stick it to them, I think you're still, sitting bucket seat in the back.
Let's talk about Oklahoma and kind of our thoughts on the Brent Venables situation and how much are we reading into Oklahoma. Let's talk about that here in a couple minutes. We'll take our final time out. You're listening to the Happy Hour on The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
My computer was a dinosaur, and our TV, well, let's just say it was definitely time for an upgrade. But finding a way wasn't so simple. And then I found it. A research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. I earned cash for the study and was able to make those much-needed upgrades. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit nationalguard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Bagels and Joe is in full summer mode. They'll add cold foam to the top of any iced coffee. Plus, they now have a Joe Coffee Club. Get unlimited drip coffee for just $8.95 per month. And don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches. Bagels and Joe, 4 Lincoln locations.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast today, a few showers and storms are possible early this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mostly sunny skies this afternoon. We'll see an afternoon high of around 96. Tonight, mostly clear skies in the forecast, a little bit cooler with the low of around 65. And tomorrow, sunny skies are expected throughout the day with a high of around 95. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fan favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, presented by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico back with you. So speaking of Oklahoma, I saw this on social media a couple weeks ago. And I believe this is from a press conference during spring ball in March of Brent Venables talking about whether or not recruits should commit to Oklahoma, and kind of diving down the rabbit hole of commits taking visits elsewhere. Just a side note, Ashley Williams Jr. did commit to Auburn today. So former Husker commit heading to the Tigers. But Brent Venables is kind of out of whack, and it kind of just shows the personality of the former Clemson defensive coordinator here. And just listen and enjoy.
But I know this, there's a lot of flaws in taking a commitment, making a reservation, and then going to go doing your thing. How can I manage a roster or who else I need to offer if I got 9 guys committed, but they're going to Bama and Georgia and LSU and A&M? How can I manage? How can I take commitments? I don't know what my numbers are. I don't want a guy to commit. Do not commit. Like, hey, coach, I'm ready to commit. Hey, buddy, here's what commitment looks like now. Okay, I want to make sure that you know. So when I say, will you marry me? You say yes, and we get married. Okay, and then we start off on the right foot. Not like I dated 4 or 5 women, and all of a sudden we feel in some kind of way. You know, is somebody going to actually show up on November 30th?
Can we play that one part? That you know that way when I ask you to marry me, we married.
Okay, I want to make sure that you know. So when I say, will you marry me? You say yes, and we get married. Okay?
Yes, we get married.
Will you marry me? You say yes, and we get married.
Dude, I love Brent Venables.
I like the hire too. Like, so me and Nathan,
weird dude though.
Nathan, Rico, Bach, and I have kind of had discussions of Brent Venables, and honestly, it'd probably be smart to bring them into this thing. But anyway, Nolan says if Rashawn was a head coach. That's true.
That's perfect.
Play it one more time. We kind of just the one part.
Just that one part. Okay.
Okay, I want to make sure that you know. So when I say, will you marry me? You say yes, and we get married.
That's Rashawn.
His eyes got so big when he said
they're big. They're big. So anyway, we've had discussions of whether or not Brent Venables is a good hire for Oklahoma. And my biggest thing is it was absolutely an SEC move, right? You know, Brent Venables is a defensive-minded head coach because of his history at Clemson. And pretty strong defenses for the Tigers as well. But you look at also then the offensive coordinator that he brings in, Jeff Lebby, who comes from Ole Miss, and we know what a Lane Kiffin offense looks like, and now Jeff Lebby is connected to that as well. And they had Matt Corral, who is part of the Carolina Panthers. So, like, you know how explosive an Ole Miss offense is, but I truly believe that a Brent Venables hire was designed or supposed to be an SEC move for the Sooners. Now, they're not going to the SEC till 2025. They've made that announcement that they're not going anywhere till 2025. So they have a couple years here left in the Big 12. And if you also look at the Big 12, a couple defensive-minded head coaches have done, little decent.
They've done really well
in the Big 12.
They've done really well.
Dave Aranda at Baylor being one of them, right? The Big 12 champion last year was Dave Aranda and Baylor. And Dave Aranda was the defensive coordinator at LSU before his head coaching gig at Baylor. So
Gary Patterson at TCU did really well for a few years.
Yeah, exactly. There's a way, there's a path to where defensive-minded head coaches can even succeed in the Big 12, as long as you find maybe a good counterpart or a good coworker in your offensive coordinator to go out and do your job, and you allow them to do your job. Now, that's not a slight at Nebraska, but in reality, Dave Aranda's figured out a way to make it work, and maybe Brent Venables will as well at a place like Oklahoma that might not be too hard to recruit to right now because they have been able to have postseason success or at least reach the playoffs.
If things
from Oklahoma
keep progressing the way that they are, this Oklahoma recruiting class, I believe I read somewhere, is going to be the best recruiting class they've had in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
They are getting commitment after commitment, and apparently, commitments with like marriage proposals. To Oklahoma. And it's just kind of funny, like not to take shots at Brent Venables, but they had I believe it was a quarterback commit, or I believe on campus the other day for an unofficial with two of his teammates who are committed to other schools.
Yeah.
So maybe a little hypocritical.
Maybe.
But I like it.
Yeah, so that's a little low down in Oklahoma. Brent Venables, I think Oklahoma is actually going to be decent this year. It might take them a couple weeks to get up off the ground and running.
Maybe Nebraska getting them this early.
I think that's a thing, and I also think Nebraska getting them at home will help to an extent as well.
Oh, yeah.
And if Nebraska is 3-0, once again, we don't know what this Nebraska team looks like. We don't know what Nebraska. There's a chance that folks forgot what Nebraska looks like when they're 3-0. And possibly in the top 25 if they start out 3-0.
These teams are so similar, though. They're so
Nebraska and Oklahoma.
Nebraska and Oklahoma,
big time.
They're so similar.
Big time.
They're breaking in.
Even
like,
though one's in year 1 of a head coach and one's in year 5, you still have different position coaches that are new to the thing,
like
new to the fold.
The most experienced group of coaches in that game is going to be Nebraska's defensive coaches.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive coaches at both schools are going to be pretty much all new, and it's going to be really interesting to see
big time
how the defenses do. I mean, the defense in Oklahoma is also new, but it's going to be pretty interesting to see how Nebraska's defense stacks up against Oklahoma's offense.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Rico. Once again, 402-464-5685. Got a couple minutes left here. Not too long, barely even 2 minutes here. I did want to mention this. College women's college basketball news. Paige Becker is possibly the best player in the entire country for UConn. Tore her ACL once again. She's going to miss the 2022-2023 season.
Dang it, man.
So that's sad. Paige is one of the brightest talents in women's college basketball.
If you watch
don't forget Caitlin Clark's also here.
If you watch the women's NCAA tournament, she came back for the tournament and wasn't really herself. Kind of took her a couple games to get her legs under her, no pun intended. And then the championship game, she did her best to keep them afloat, but South Carolina just kind of overwhelmed them. And you would think that, her getting this offseason to rehab and train and get better, UConn would come back better than ever, but tears her ACL once again, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's disappointing. In the NFL, here we got about a minute. In the NFL, so New Orleans Saints offensive lineman Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa, he was their first-round pick here in the 2022 draft, has been kicked out of OTAs for starting a fight for 3 consecutive days.
That's called grit and determination.
So 3 straight days, a rookie offensive lineman has started a fight in practice, and now he has been kicked out of OTAs.
How you letting a rookie get to your head?
What is that?
How you letting a rookie get in your mind?
Does that straight up mean like is there a chance he gets cut here?
No.
Okay,
no,
so he's just done with OTAs.
They're just like,
that's
look,
a problem.
They're
man.
just like, look, go home.
That's a problem.
Get your head right, or they're sending him home to protect him. I don't know who he's getting in fights with.
I don't know either.
But
I couldn't tell you who the defensive end for the Saints are right now. Oh well.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Either way, Trevor Penning getting in fights.
Love
All right, that's it for today. We will talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.
Adios. Hey, batter.